Hi, this is odeean here. Today I'm having a look at S.H.Monsterarts Little Godzilla. This is the box for Little Godzilla, and it's got a really attractive close-up of his face there to try and sell that cuteness that the character has. But unlike the other releases from Monsterarts that I've got, this actually shipped in a sleeve, like a cardboard outer. This is what that box looked like. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think the reason is because if you are Japanese, this was a web exclusive, whereas the Western release was more widely available through Bluefin in the US. So I bought this from Big Bad Toy Store for $40 something, but more recently it's been much cheaper than that, like less than $30 on Amazon on some sales. So I guess a lot of people would have been picking this guy up more recently. He's a nice little guy, and he's from the movie Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. So we did get the Space Godzilla from that movie, and then now this fellow. He's really cute. I mean, even if I wasn't collecting Godzillas, I would not be able to help myself picking this guy up. He's got such big eyes and a cute look about him. I carried this in my pocket when I went to the zoo the other day for my daughter to play with. She really likes him as well. Okay, let's have a little look at some of his posability. Okay, now there's no motion on the head. His neck is one solid piece here. So unlike the other kaiju we've got so far, his head is just in a fixed position. His shoulder can rotate up about that far, and then back. I don't know, so if you go in the backwards direction, it's a bit easier. We've got 360. We have a double jointed elbow that gets about 85 degrees. There's a swivel at the elbow, although his stubby little arms make it kind of difficult to use. His hands are on a ball which have enough range of motion for him to sort of get some more gesturing done, like grabbing a hold of staff, sticking his hand up in the air like that. He's on this kind of pivot at the torso, so he can hunch forward, but again, it's not very much. His thigh can move quite a large degree around at the hip like this. You can see going right back, although it does poke out as it goes back. His knee is double jointed and has a little bit of travel. There's also a swivel at that knee joint, and his feet are on ball joints. As with the other Monsterarts, this lower leg section is a floating system that the kneecap and the sort of shin/calf area just floats around a posable skeleton underneath, so it can maintain the look of having no gaps as you move it. And that's about it. There's no posability on the tail section. One of the good things about the posability that he does have is that it enables him to reach a sitting position like this. Although one of my legs goes a bit more than the other. This one has popped off several times, but this one more easily gets up. So he can sit down on his backside just like this, and that is how he is featured on the back of the box. He comes with these stands for the purpose of sitting him down. So if you grab them like that and plop him down, he can be imprisoned in the middle of these kind of crystal shards grown by Space Godzilla. I think for draining his energy, that looks really nice. Just on the shelf, that is pretty nice to see. As a colour comparison between these crystals and the crystals that come with Space Godzilla, you can see that they don't really match. So Space Godzilla's little base with the crystal shards here are much more silver. I would have thought that it would have been better to stick with this particular colour, given that Space Godzilla's spines and crystals on his back look more like this. So I would say that this is the base which is a bit wrong, whereas Baby Godzilla's base is the more accurate version. So you don't have to keep them imprisoned. These can be out like this, and they can all pop off. So in the box there are some little blanks to insert into the holes to make it flush with the surface if you don't want to insert something here. And this is just a regular base, so you can pop in kind of effect stands and what have you into this if you choose to. The detail on the figure, it has much more of a reliance on paint applications than the other figures like Godzilla. So if you look at Godzilla, if you saw my previous review, you'll notice that he's got a really uniform colour when it comes to his plastic colour. So all his legs and chest, the bulk of him is one moulded plastic colour with no paint, with the exception of his spines and toes. Little Godzilla isn't really like that. Looking closely, you can see the use of different shades of green, or they might actually be kind of washes of darker colour that have been put over the green to give him the definition where his muscles or rolls of fat are, and it's been done to pretty good effect. On the chest area as well, he has kind of multiple colours, a kind of gradient of colour going from the green on the outside towards a more yellow inside area. And on the stomach, his eyes are big and shiny, painted in a lifelike manner, and if you can see really close up there, they even have some kind of iris pattern in them, little tiny lines, quite detailed. The teeth are the one area where the paint lets it down. So giving you a close look at that tooth there, you can see that some of the gum colour has dripped down or bled down onto the white of the tooth, so his teeth are kind of bloody. He doesn't look as clean cut as his dad here. You can see that the regular Godzilla toy has very defined teeth with accurate paint application, whereas this Baby Godzilla is not to the same standard as that. He has cream coloured paint on the toenails, on the claw nails, and on his spines going down the back. Let's have a look at exactly how tall he is. The trusty old ruler. Okay, so he stands at about 10 centimeters tall, or inches, that's 4 inches. It's quite a small figure, but the price thankfully reflected the reduced size. So kind of my final thoughts on this guy, definitely worth buying and not that expensive. Pretty easy to get at the moment as well, so there's not really a reason to avoid it. If you don't like the cuteness of it, well then I guess it would be an easy pass, but for me the cuteness is the major selling point and I really like it, so I recommend that anyone should go out and get this. I'm odeean, and thanks for watching my video review of S.H.Monsterarts Little Godzilla.